All right, so you've brought us quite the story from the book of Genesis. Family drama, ambition, intrigue, it's all there. We're talking Isaac, Rebekah, and their sons, Esau and Jacob. And thousands of years later, it still makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does. It's incredibly how these themes, family dynamics, the choices we made, the weight of blessings, they still resonate so strongly today.
Absolutely. Okay, so picture this. We're in the book of Genesis. Isaac, the patriarch, he's old, he's blind, and he has these two sons, Esau and Jacob. Esau's the eldest, a hunter, tough, his father's favorite. And then there's Jacob, described as smooth-skinned. Makes you think he spent a little less time out in the wilds and maybe a little more time with mom, right? Rebekah, that is.
And to really grasp what's going on here, we have to remember the cultural context. Primogeniture, the right of the firstborn son. It wasn't just some tradition back then. It determined everything. Inheritance, your place in society, even leadership within the family. Esau, as the firstborn, he was basically guaranteed a life of privilege and power.
Yeah, imagine being Jacob. Your future is basically decided before you're even born, just because you came second.
Exactly. And it's with all that in mind, those expectations, that pressure that this story unfolds, you can see why those original listeners, they'd be on the edge of their seats. Family dynamics, deception, those blessings, it all mattered so much.
And this is where it gets good, right? Isaac, he knows his time is coming to an end, so he decides he wants to give Esau his final blessing. But first, being the patriarch he is, he wants one last amazing meal. Go out with a bang.
And we can't underestimate the importance of food back then, especially in a situation like this. Requesting savory food before a blessing, it wasn't just about being hungry, was it? It was like a ritual full of meaning.
Right, exactly. So Isaac's about to set his son's destiny in motion. There's this incredible symbolic meal being prepared, and, well, that's where Rebekah steps in. She overhears all of this, and being Rebekah, she's not about to let this opportunity slip away. She cooks up this plan with Jacob to basically steal the blessing.
And the way the story tells it, you're right there in the middle of it all. Rebekah preparing the food, Jacob hesitating, her pushing him forward. It's like watching a family drama unfold right in front of you.
What I find fascinating is how the story uses all these sensory details. The feel of Esau's hairy arms, the smell of his clothes. It's not just about setting the scene, it's like you're right there with them, feeling the tension.
You're right, it pulls you in. It makes you realize how much is at stake for everyone involved. It's not just a story being told, it's an experience.
Totally. So Rebekah dresses Jacob up in Esau's clothes, even uses those goat skins to make him feel hairy like his brother. She is all in on this plan. And then, the moment of truth, Jacob, disguised as his brother, brings the food to Isaac. But remember, Isaac's blind. He has to rely on his other senses.
And the tension just builds and builds. Isaac even asks Jacob to come closer so he can feel him, just to be sure it's really Esau. You can tell something isn't quite right. Jacob's voice, it doesn't quite match up. You start to think, is this whole plan going to fall apart?
It's such a close call. But somehow, Isaac is convinced. Maybe it was the goat skins, maybe the aroma of that delicious meal, whatever it was. He's fooled. He gives Jacob the blessing meant for Esau. And this isn't just any blessing. This is a powerful declaration. Promises of abundance, power, even dominance over Esau. Can you imagine how Jacob must have felt in that moment?
Talk about a turning point. The younger son receiving the blessing meant for the firstborn. It completely changes everything and sets off this chain of events that will have massive consequences.
Oh man, talk about a game changer. You can practically feel the ground shifting under them. But this is where it gets even wilder. Remember how we talked about the importance of primogeniture? Well, this blessing wasn't just about words. It had real, tangible consequences.
Absolutely. This is where the story takes on a whole new level of significance. Jacob, now the bearer of his father's blessing, goes on to have 12 sons and their descendants. They become the 12 tribes of Israel.
Whoa! So this seemingly personal family drama is actually the foundation for the entire Israelite nation. Talk about a twist you don't see coming.
Okay, so we covered the sons, but we can't forget about Rebekah. She's often painted as the mastermind, the one pulling the strings. But was she really in the wrong?
That's the question that keeps scholars debating even today. On the one hand, her actions set off a chain of events that led to deceit and family strife. But think about it from her perspective. The text tells us that God revealed to her, even before the twins were born, that the younger would rule over the older. So she was maybe following a different kind of plan, a divine one even. It's almost as if she was caught between these two forces, her societal role and her understanding of a divine decree. Talk about a rock in a hard place.
Exactly. It forces us to consider the complexities of her character. Was she a manipulator, or a woman trying to navigate a patriarchal society? Was she simply a mother fighting for her son's destiny? The story doesn't offer easy answers. It invites us to grapple with those questions ourselves.
And that's what makes this ancient story feel so relevant, even today, right? These themes of ambition, family loyalty, the desire for blessing, they're timeless, universal. We might not be vying for ancient birthrights, but we can all relate to the challenges of family dynamics and the weight of our choices.
Precisely. As you reflect on this deep dive into the story of Isaac, Rebekah, Esau, and Jacob, consider this. How does this story speak to your own experiences? What does it teach us about the enduring power of family, the consequences of our actions, and the delicate balance between ambition and integrity? This story, though thousands of years old, still has the power to challenge and inspire us today.
Thank you for spending this time with us. Toby, Eleanor, and our team of researchers are working hard to produce more episodes. If you value what we're doing here, please consider subscribing and sharing the word. Additionally, our podcast, RSS, and Patreon links can be found below. Listener support is what makes our work possible. Join us next time for another deep dive. God bless.